How's it going, everyone? My name is Derek Afasi. I'm the owner of Afasi Financial Group and RetireSharp.com. Today's topic I want to discuss with you guys in full detail 401k retirement age and do a thorough review on when someone's gearing up for retirement. What are some of the different options that they may be eligible for regarding their 401k plan, and how can they suit it better to their individual goals and situation? So, the 401k retirement, obviously, this is something that is offered through private institutions. When you have an individual that's working for that private company, they're going to be offered different benefits package, health insurance, disability insurance, any ancillary products, and then a 401k retirement plan that they could contribute their dollars into. So, in a given example, let's say an individual makes $100,000 in a given year, and this 401k plan says you could take a portion of your salary and place it into a type of retirement bucket. Any dollar that's being placed into that bucket is obviously going to make this bucket larger, along with the interest that's coming back with this bucket that is typically tied to mutual funds. So throughout the years, let's say if you've been contributing to the same 401k plan or multiple 401k plans, for 10, 20, 30 years, and now you start to get to age 59 and a half, age 60, what exactly are some of the options at that specific point in time? Now, some 401k plans are a little bit more of a pain than others, but what I've noticed is that typically, right when you hit age 59 and a half, age 60, a lot of these 401k providers allow you to take a portion, if not all of your 401k, and roll them over into specifically designed IRA contracts. Whether you've severed employment with that employer or you have just sufficed that specific age. And what they're trying to do is allow you that opportunity to grow those funds on a more consistent basis or segment your retirement dollars on a more consistent basis. So this is why when somebody is hitting that 59 and a half, age 60, they have different options available to them to provide them lifetime income at a later date and time, to provide them higher growth strategies at a later date and time, or currently something that's not paying as high of fees as the 401k plans would provide, something that has higher quality funds available in those sorts of plans. So it's all about looking at it the 30,000 foot view of saying, okay, what have I contributed to for a retirement sense for throughout my entire working year, and then now I'm at this point, I'm at this age 60. I might want to retire in a couple of years or maybe at age 65. How exactly can I retire at this specific mark with confidence? At that year when I want to retire, how exactly can I say I'm pulling out Social Security income, I'm possibly pulling out pension income if you're offered one, and then how can you leverage your 401k at this age 60 to make sure that it's going to fit like a perfect puzzle piece for your exact retirement income goal? So the major problems that individuals have when they're trying to figure out their 401k retirement age and determine when they want to retire and really leverage their 401k for that, for that goal, what happens is individuals just leave their monies in their 401k accounts, and they don't realize the negatives with those 401ks. Now, 401k plan is very good because it kind of allows a person to save without realizing it. So if someone's getting paid that $100,000 in a given year and they're throwing $10,000 into their 401k plan, well, there's a portion of their paycheck each and every pay period is getting placed into this 401k account. The good things about a 401k plan are the matches that the companies will provide. Now, this used to be a lot more attractive and have really fallen by the wayside in more recent years, where some companies don't give you a match at all. Other carriers maybe give you like a 2% match. And what that is when they say they're matching, that's free money. So if somebody's placing $10,000 and they only made 100 grand that year, and the company's matching at 2%, that means that if you think of it in the terms of that bucket, this person is placing $10,000 into this 401k plan, and the company is placing $2,000 into this plan. So if this individual, let's say the next year, placed $1,000 into this bucket, that's only 1%. Well, the company would only be placing $1,000. So it's a match up to a specific limit. Now, the major reason why I say leverage your 401ks and you place into specifically designed IRA contracts is because if you think of that bucket, yeah, you're placing contributions. Yeah, you might have a match going into on that side, but what also determines how large or small this bucket's going to be at the end of the day, at the end of the year, is the percentage rate that comes back. So these 401k plans are typically tied to mutual funds. Now, these mutual fund options are, anywhere from 5 to 15, 5 to 20 different mutual funds that you could choose. And typically what happens is you have very high cost mutual funds, and they're garbage mutual funds, to say the least. So what's happening is you're paying for expensive mutual funds that have not performed as well typically as a benchmark type index. So what happens with that as a negative is if you have that opportunity at that age 60 to say, okay, well, I've already accumulated my 401k plan. If I'm still getting the match, it's not as if you're losing the match when you go and you take a portion of your 401k and you roll it over into an IRA, because if you're still placing in $10,000 into your 401k plan, well, then now you just have a fresh bucket of $10,000 with with the $2,000 match in that example. The match is not going to, it doesn't matter whether you have 500,000 in this 401k account or you have $0 in that 401k account, the match is still going to remain consistent. But this percentage rate, if you could get that percentage rate to grow at a more consistent basis and eliminate any sorts of fees or eliminate any sorts of negatives, obviously you can have the power of compound interest to get you from, in this example, age 60 to age 65 in a safe, consistent way. Whether you're looking to maximize out your income in retirement, there's a specifically designed contract for that. You could do it in the form of an IRA annuity, or if you're just looking to go more on a growth side or something that's more tailored towards your appetite for risk, well, then you could set up IRA contracts with actively managed portfolios. So if you think about it like this bucket, a 401k and an IRA are very similar because they're both qualified retirement accounts. So they're both accounts that you cannot pull, you cannot start taking distributions from until you're age 59 and a half. And they also have required minimum distributions at age 70 and a half, where the government is requiring you, the IRS is requiring you to start taking distributions from that specific account. Unlike the 401k, which you might have, 5 to 20 different funds to choose from, or you can have an option of 300 different funds to choose from. Well, that's just more eggs in your basket to give you a higher growth potential if you're trying to have growth as one of your goals. And when I go through the different formats of what is typically makes an individual confident in their retirement, it comes down to three main criteria. And when you're looking at those three main criteria, how exactly can you implement it to your exact situation by leveraging your 401k retirement age and segmenting it like a perfect puzzle piece to accomplish your goals and accomplish your retirement with confidence? What I mean by that is, like, let's say the first goal is income. So if this person's age 60 and they want to retire at age 65, let's say at age 65 they have Social Security income coming to them. They unfortunately don't have any pension coming to them. And then they have their retirement savings and it's all invested into a 401k plan. Let's say this 401k plan is sitting at $500,000, and you can use any number for this. So it doesn't matter. What the major goal is to say what's my need at age 65, what are my expenses at age 65, and then scale backwards. Let's say we determine that this individual, after a budgeting analysis, we determine that this individual needs $40,000 of income for the rest of their life from age of 65 to last them for the rest of their life. Well, what they can do is take out of their at age 65, let's say they're receiving $30,000 of Social Security income, they're not receiving anything regarding pension income, and they have $500,000 of retirement savings. Well, that's an easy example because all this says is that their guaranteed income sources are $30,000, but their need is $40,000. So therefore, we have to figure out $10,000 worth of guaranteed income of a guaranteed income play. So out of this $500,000, if they're eligible for on their 401k, they could roll over that 401k into a specifically designed IRA contract. You could leverage a type of fixed annuity, making sure that there's tiers of safety, a legal reserve structure, tiers of safety in that will provide them $10,000 of income that maybe that's only going to cost them $150,000 to produce that $10,000 of income with that 5-year deferral. So out of that account, $350,000 is left over on the sidelines, or is at least left back over into your 401k account. As opposed to just saying, okay, I'm going to hope that my 401k account keeps growing and growing and growing. And that's what a lot of individuals in 2008 did. And unfortunately, they've experienced half of their portfolio getting depleted. So they walked into the year with 500,000. They walked out of the year with 250,000. They didn't take any distributions out. It was because this percentage rate came back negative. So how exactly can we make sure that we're at least securing it? We're securing your income sources properly, and we're making sure that they're within like-to-like terms. You do a 401k into an IRA because a 401k is a qualified retirement account, an IRA is a qualified retirement account, so it's like-to-like terms, rather than taking your 401k out and throwing it into your checking account that will obviously target a taxable event and you get hit with high taxation. So that's just a really simple example of using an IRA annuity. Now, with this situation, we only needed 150,000 into that IRA annuity, and now you have $350,000, as mentioned before, left over. So number two is emergency funds. It's wise to always have in between 6 to 12 months into emergency funds. So maybe we're leaving about another 50,000, 50,000, 80,000 in emergency funds. We'll just call it even 100 grand that you could leave that in liquid cash, something that you could have a portion of it. You could roll over a portion of your 401k into some sort of qualified IRA money market account. So you have liquid cash with that. And then the third option is that inflationary protection, to say, okay, at age 65, I have $40,000 of need of income, but a portion of my expenses are fixed, a portion of my expenses are inflationary. How could I make sure that I'm receiving step-ups in income? And that's when you could grow those remaining money. So in this example, we use 150 into the IRA annuity, 100,000 was just into a simple IRA account that has liquid access to those funds in case of an emergency. And now you have $250,000 that's left over that now you could grow those monies. You could either keep that portion in your 401k account and have it tied to those mutual funds, those limited mutual fund options, or you could go and roll them over into a specifically designed IRA contract for growth and more on that safety and accumulation side. Receiving gains when the market goes up, not receiving losses when the market goes down, or just something that's more actively managed, that's constantly rebalancing based upon what the market indicators are showing you. So there's a whole slew of different things you could do, but as long as you keep it within these three criteria, retirement planning is not that difficult, and leveraging your 401k retirement age is not that difficult. The mistake that's common is individuals just say, oh, well, I've already saved my money in my 401k, so I'm already used to that. I don't want to change anything, and they're not being realistic, because that's how individuals fall victim to downward market losses. They fall victim to fees. They fall victim to advisor fees, and then they run that risk of outliving their money off of longevity risk, inflationary risk, and they cannot retire confidently. They're constantly in a panic, checking the market every morning, saying, oh my gosh, what's happening to my money? I'm hoping that my money's gonna keep growing so that I could retire. And that's when we see retirement disasters, when someone does not properly plan. So these are just really simple, hypothetical situations, but understand each situation is going to be different. It all depends upon your scenario, when you want to retire, whether you have sufficient amount of income sources where therefore you could leverage more dollars into emergency and those inflationary type protection aspects. But do you want to have something with 5 to 15, 5 to 20 different options that are paying high fees, or would you rather have something more that would be a specific suit for your risk tolerance, for your exact situation, for your exact income goal? And that's what we try to help you guys educate on. And this is why we make ourselves available to you guys 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Our 1-800 number is 1-800-566-1002. You can check out our website, retiresharp.com. And when calling in, you'd be talking to an assistant, and they'll ask you, okay, what are you calling in for? And they'll patch you over to a specialist. That specialist is going to try to really figure out what your situation is, what you're currently doing, whether you can accomplish what your goal off of what you're currently doing, and really figure out what your goal is. And then if there are specific gaps within that goal, we'll give recommendations. Now understand, there's many times that we just tell these individuals there's no reason to change. There's no reason to go and shift around your money and leverage different sorts of product lines if it's not necessary and it's not going to give you proper leveraging strategies, proper consistency, something that's going to make you confident. If you could already obtain a confident retirement off of what you're doing, we're going to be honest with you and tell you that. Now, there's also many times that individuals do need help, and they're kind of going into it and they just saved their money for retirement. They didn't really know what they were doing, and now they really have to go into a preservation and distribution strategy, and that's what we're going to try to educate you guys through personalized videos, through literature pieces. And this is the things that we've been doing for years now, and on a national basis, to make sure that everybody calling in is taken care of the right way. And at the end of the day, if you don't go with the recommendations, at least you were better informed off of your current situation. We're A+ rated on the Better Business Bureau. We've always had very good reviews. We've never had any complaints. It's because of this methodical process. I'm the owner of the company, Derek Afasi, with Afasi Financial Group. If you found value in this video, please feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Retire Sharp, so you could have access to the most updated videos. Thanks so much, guys.